Welcome to this episode of Crocheting with Dakota, where I'm going to show you how to make an addition to the shell stitch blanket. I put a border on these ones so that they can be attached together, so you can actually make a rectangle instead of just a large square. I have a border on these two, and I'm going to show you how to do it on this one. So let's get started. Okay, now for a close-up view here, you can see that the border is actually flat. So what this consists of is, in the corner dip of the shell stitch here, is 3 double crochets, and then on each side are half double crochets, and then at the top of each shell are 3 single crochets. In the corner, it's basically the same, except for we did our 3 singles, our half double, and then we did 2 double crochets, and then for the corner I did that 1 double crochet here, which is the same as the single double crochet here in the very center. But after that one, I did a chain 3, and then to the same spot here, I did another double crochet to create that corner. And then I went on to do another double crochet, and then the half double crochet, and then the single crochets at the top of the shell. So those are the sides and corners. So now I'm actually going to show you how to do this. And when you choose your colors, it will depend on what you want for the row that you're going to join together with. For me, I chose the white color because that is the color in common between these two, where I switched from a light tealish color blue to a darker teal, but these two colors are the same. So that's the color I'm doing the border in which I'll actually join the 2 squares together. Okay, I don't actually start in the corner or even here for the borders. I go over 1 or 2. So I'm actually going to go into this one here. So I'm going to get the end of my yarn. Okay, so I have that there. And to start, I actually tie the yarn on here. So I stick my hook through this hole here, and I hook my yarn onto the hook there, and I simply pull it all the way through. And then I tie a double knot to make it quite secure so that even in the washing machine, hopefully it stays. Okay, and then within that same hole, you insert your hook back through, and you're going to chain 3. And that's how you start. So that's your pull through, and then you do chain 1, chain 2, and chain 3. Okay, I'm going to put this up so that it's not falling down. Okay. Now that was a center stitch, and that counts as a double crochet. So in this pattern, you would have double crochet on either side of that. But we're only going this way, so we're going to do our 1 double crochet into here. So there's the second double crochet. And in the next one, we're doing our half double crochet. For those of you who don't know how to do one, it's basically the same start as the double crochet. So you wrap around your hook, insert into the hole, hook your yarn and pull through so you have your 3 loops just like your double crochet. For a double crochet, you would only pull through 2 loops. But for the half double crochet, you're going to pull through all 3. So hook your yarn and then pull through all 3, and that's your half double crochet. So now the next 3 over are single crochets. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Now we're back to a half double crochet. There you go, slow motion for you. And then we're doing 3 full double crochets. So 1 here, and 1 here. So there's our first one, and our second one, Sometimes the hook doesn't like staying in. There we go. And our third one. Okay, and now we're doing a half double crochet again into the next spot. There we go, and then 3 single crochets. And this pattern is the same for all sides. The corners are slightly different, as I was talking about a bit before. Okay, so we're going to do another half double crochet and 3 full double crochets. There's 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so that's 2 full shells done. So you can see it's actually straight here, and that's done by the various lengths of the stitches we're doing in this row. So let's continue on. Just a little bit more. Okay, so that was a full double crochet, so our next one is a half. Okay, and then we're going to do 3 singles again. There's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and now we're back to a half. And then 3 full doubles. That's the second one. And third one. Half double now. Going slow so you can hopefully see what I'm doing better. And then singles. 1, 2, and 3, and a half double. Okay, and now our 3 fulls again. The second one, and our third one. Okay, so you can see that we've done 1 shell, 2 shell, 3 shell, 4 shells worth of border. And you continue this pattern all the way to the edge. So when I get to a corner here, I will show you how to do this. So when I get to this point, into this dip here, I'll start filming again. So I'll meet you there. Okay, I've got most of the side done, and I've gotten here to the edge, to the closest to the corner. So I've done the 3 single crochets at the top of the shell. So next we're doing a half double crochet, and then we're going to do our 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now just like normal, we continue on. So this is our half double crochet, and then we're going to do our 3 singles. So 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to do our half double crochet. Okay, now that we're into the dip here, our next one's still normal, so we're doing our full double crochet. And we're doing 1 more full double crochet into the very center here. Now this is where it changes. we're going to now make the corner by chaining 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And now into the same spot here that we did this double crochet, we're going to do another double crochet. Okay, that's the hook will just go through there. There we go. So now we're going to continue on as normal. So into this next one is another double crochet. And now we're doing our half double crochet. And then our 3 singles. 1, 2, and 3. And now we're on to the side. So you can see that made our corner. Okay. So now I'm going to continue on, and when I get to the next corner, I'll show you that again, so you can see 2 corners being done. Okay. Now to this corner, I have done the full double crochets and this V here. So we're going to move on to our half double crochet. And then our 3 singles. There's 1, 2, and 3. Now we're doing our half double crochet. And now we're doing a full double crochet. That loop slipped off, so let's redo that one. Okay. Sometimes that happens to me, or too many loops slip off the hook. Okay, we only need 2 off. There we go. And now we're doing our double crochet into the center here. Now we're at the corner, so we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And now into that same spot where we did this double crochet, we're doing another double crochet. Okay, then we move on to our double crochet into this hole here. And then our half double crochet. And then our next 3 single crochets. There's 2, and there's 3. And we're back to the side. So there's the second corner done. So now you have 2 full sides of border. So when I come around here, I will show you how to end, but it's basically just a slip stitch into the top of this chain 3. So I will meet you here. Okay, I am to the last few stitches here. So I have done the 3 single crochets at the top of the shell. So next is our half double crochet. And now into our last stitch here is a full double crochet. Okay, now the next part is joining these together. So this is our original chain 3 that we did to start. So at the top of the chain here, you're going to insert your hook, and now you're going to yarn over and pull through there, and now you're also going to pull through here without yarning over again. That is called a slip stitch, and that's how you join. Now to tie off, you're going to yarn over and pull through, and now you're going to snip there. And I left my scissors. So, okay, now that I have the scissors, I leave about an inch or 2, and then I snip. Okay, and then I pull through and I tug tight, Now to make this extra secure, I do another loop. So I turn it over and I find a stitch down here that I stick my hook in somewhere where we'll actually go through. Let's try here. There we go. And then I put my yarn over there to hook it and pull through, and then I hook it and pull through again and pull tight. And that makes it extra secure. So that is how you complete the border, and then that's all that's next is putting the yarn in with the yarning needle. So there we go. Now I am going to show you how to put two of these together. So let me get prepped for that and then I'll start recording again. Okay, for this part you need your two squares that have both been edged, and also you need a darning needle and some of the yarn you're going to use. I'm using the same color as the border, so it's basically an invisible joining is what I'm going for. Now I already cut the length, but what I did is I went from one corner to the next straight flat 3 times. So I did 3, I went like this, and then back this way, and then back this way from corner to corner of just one side. Because all you're going to do is connect one side. And then you want to face your front sides together. So with this particular stitch, the way I can tell the difference is the front side looks kind of plain, whereas the back side, if you look at it, kind of looks like Celtic stitching, where you get this much more weaving look going on. So that's how I tell. You can also just use stitch markers, or just based on how it looks to you, how best you can tell it apart. But that's how I tell. So what you're going to do is you're going to place your two front sides together and make sure your corners are together, and you line it up nicely. Okay? When you have that, you also want to thread your yarn onto your needle. And get about maybe 6 inches left over that is not doubled up. And at the end that you didn't thread through, you want to do a slip knot, but you want to leave the loop open. So from your right hand corner, you want, if you are right-handed, because you go to the left. Okay. So once you have your two corners together, you want to join in that area. So I am going to find the center loop here, and I'm actually only using the chain and not the chain space. And I'm looping through there and to the same spot on this one. And you pull your needle through and pull this slowly, because this one here, you want to stick your needle through this loop and hold the knot and pinch it, and you're going to pull tight so this is done securely. And now, so once you have this tied, you're going to turn your blanket so you can see the two sides here, and you're going to only stitch through the back loops. So you're going to put your needle through here, this back loop, and this back loop, and you're going to pull your needle through, and then you're going over and you're going back through in the next loop. That way all your stitching is hidden. You don't want to go over this way like that. That's whip stitching. We're not doing that. This is hidden stitching. So now that we're on this side, we're going to the next one over, and the next one over on this side. And you just keep doing that all the way across, and all your loops should line up nicely. Since it's the same number of stitches. Now this is how I join granny squares together. So if you have done that, you know how to do this if you use this method. There are several different methods, but this is the one I prefer because it creates a nice, clean, straight joining that I also think is very secure versus doing a joining as you go method, because that to me would only be joining the tips of these. You wouldn't be doing this border. You would have done these two, this last row of the shell stitch on each one and joined as you go. So that's another way, but I don't really like that one. So here we go, and just keep going back and forth all the way across. Now for me personally, after I get to the other end, I go back this way. It creates a nice look to it, and it's even more secure than only going once. So this will get tedious watching. So once I get to the other end, I'll show you how I switch directions. But just remember, you're not crossing over to come back this way. You keep switching which side you're on. So here we go, a few more so you can see, and then I'll get to the end here. Okay, so when I start recording again, I'll be at the other end. Okay, I have gotten to the end, so I have all my stitching. So this is actually all together. Now I ended by coming through this way. So to go back the other way, through this loop here that I did previously, I simply start going back the other way. You're using the same loops and just change directions. It's that simple, really. You can get more complicated if you want to, but this way, it's just really simple. And I go back through to get a second length of yarn, making it more secure. It also leaves a bit of a different pattern when you pull the seam apart, which I'll show you in a second. Let me get a few more of these in so you can actually see the difference. There we go. Okay. So let's pull this. So when you pull it like this, it's not being stretched, you can still see where it was stitched together, and that's why I like using the same color as this, whereas the stitching doesn't stand out. Now if you pull this up, and I'm going to hopefully be in focus here, you can see the zigzag pattern there in the center, and over here it's harder to pull apart, and you can see a double stitching there. So that's why I like doing two, is it's actually tighter than this, as you can tell the difference there, and it looks a little bit nicer having two zigzags going through there. So you do that until you get to the other end, and I'll show you how to tie off once I'm there. Okay, I've made it back to the side that I started on. So to actually end it, I actually go back one stitch, push the needle through, and don't pull all the way through. I want to then go back a stitch here. We'll go back this way towards the end and get the needle through there. And you're going to want to go through the loop and do that, and then wrap your needle under again, so your thread is actually going twice through that, and then you pull tight, and that creates a knot on there. And then I thread back this way like I originally started, to work this end in, which makes it even more secure. After you have two pieces in your loops, it gets a little bit harder because it's a bit tight. Okay, now that's worked in far enough, so I'm just simply going to snip it here. And I'm also going to work this end in because it's so short. I'm going to work the needle in first. Okay, so it's very scrunched up, but once it's straight out, it will be long enough for this to hide in. So now I'm threading that through. I don't want to pull it all the way. I want that little bit of loop there. Makes it easier to go in for me. And then I pull through until the needle comes off this. And then I'm going to pull tight here. And then I'm going to snip this little bit off here. There we go. And then that's done. So, let's take a look at this. Right side, these loose ends are from the actual shell stitch. So, this is what it looks like when it's done. And a better view of it pulled apart a bit. And you can see the double rows there. So that's how you put two together. It's like just doing two very, very big granny squares. So thank you for watching this episode of Crocheting with Dakota. I hope you enjoyed it, at least learned something. I will show you when this blanket is completely done. I'm going to have two rows. So I have these three together for one row, and then I'm going to do another row here where it alternates colors. So when I have that done, I'll do a short little video on the complete blanket. So thanks for watching for now. I hope you watch my next video. See you next time.